So the next thing, I'm just going to quickly go through the simulation. So the idea for the simulations is if you're big into experiments and having your students see the more the research side, this is a great way to get students kind of interacting with different experiments. So the idea is students come in and they can pretty much they can participate as if they were actually doing an experiment themselves. So I'm just going to click on Learning, and as you see, it quickly guides students through and it gives them an introduction, instructions on that experiment as if they were actually participating in real life. And then it leads them through and gets them to really kind of engage and critically think with that material. So it kind of gives it more of a research-based approach. And then these video series are just another way to, engage your students, kind of getting them to think deeper instead of just sitting up there, lecturing or having them read their material. It gives them a little variety. So for each chapter, you'll notice that there's 6 different kinds of videos. So it ranges from the big picture is kind of just introducing students to the material that they're going to be covering in the chapter and giving them that brief overview. The basics it goes a little bit more in depth than the big picture, so it's still making it very simple for students and kind of just pulling out what students need to know in that chapter. The special topics is a video series based on things that students may be more likely to be interested in. This way it kind of really gets them engaged and more research topics. Thinking like a sociologist is kind of bringing in the research aspect and trying to look at things from the sociological perspective. So when psychologists are doing their research, what are they covering, their approaches, etc. In the real world, it's getting students to, again, connect with the material so they're not just looking at it as, okay, this is, the material, I just need to know it. So it's really bringing it home for them and getting them to see it and how it connects to their everyday life. And the same goes for the what's in it for me. So again, just getting students to really relate to it instead of just looking at it as psychology and getting them really actually interested in the material. If you wanted to assign, or if critical thinking is a big objective for you, then we actually have automated pre-written or pre-prompts that you can assign, and they're automatically graded, but it really just it gets students to really start thinking about the information critically, and instead of them just understanding it from the factual point. So it's getting them to really just take what they're learning and really applying it and making sure that they are understanding what it is that you're reading in class. And if you wanted to create your own, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And then the last thing I'm going to show you the last few things are the flashcards. So these can actually be sent to your iPhone or your tablets, and it's as if a student were sitting there writing their own flashcards. They can still shuffle them. They can make little quizzes, etc. And then the MyPsychLab brain, I know especially for intro psych students, it can be a little more complex. So this breaks it down pretty simplistically and lets students kind of see in a 3D way on how the different systems within the brain really work. So it helps them understand that neurobiology part a little bit better. And then we have a bunch of resources, and in terms of just allowing students to really take what they're learning, and if they're interested, they can explore it further, or if they're still having trouble, they can, go into external sources. So we really give it so everything that's available within MyPsychLab is suited for all types of learners.